on the behalf of lovely professional university. So attendees, what do you think the essence of today's webinar? Well, I'm glad to share with much excitement that today our expert will deliver his expertise and make us learn about roadmap to the future design. So I'm sure you are as excited as I am for today's learning process. So kindly allow me to introduce our expert. Professor Ravi Raman M, Professor, School of Design, lovely professional university. An intellectual personality with a degree of design from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. He has an experience of 27 years as an academician and in industry and research as well. His expertise lies in consumer products, children products, and digital interface. And to his credit, he has won much accolades and laurels. So, sir, it's a privilege to have you on board with us today. Thank you so much for joining. So with this, we'll begin our today's webinars. Over to you, sir, and looking forward for a great interactive session.
Good. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. And I welcome all the students and who are there on the other side. And I think we can't interact here. So whatever I just present at the end of it, you can type on your questions and you can ask me any questions that is to do with your design in the end, so that she will just coordinate for the questions and I'll answer all your questions. In this webinar, we are trying to look off. I'm sure that with some kind of an aspiration and an idea, you people have chosen a design as your future, right? So instead of choosing engineering or some other subject, you people have chosen a design. It could be any kind, any design, whether it is a interior and furniture design, or maybe even a product design or UI UX. And I would like to tell you that how promising career, how promising down the line in future design is all about, right? So that's what we'll just look into. See, to give you a kind of the network that we have at Lovely Professional University, the different schools with the design. For example, all our design curriculum at the back of it is, associated with, the kind of a network that is number one in India. Like, for example, if it is architecture, means definitely we come under Council of Architecture. In interior design, we are part of, member of also an Institute of Interior Design. In architecture, we are also a member of Indian Institute of Architects. And for fashion design, game design, product design, UI UX, we are all a part of the member of the different professional networks, so that you are all up to date with whatever the kind of the requirements that is happening in the market, right? And you are also in touch with them. Let us look into the kind of an agenda, though this agenda is meant for a different presentation, and we will look for what importance of a design thinking and the scope and opportunities, and we may not do a hands-on exercise here. I will also try to look at essentials of what a design schools should have. When you're looking for a design career, that what are all the things you should look for in a design schools, and what kind of a design career in LPU. And at the end, we'll spare some time for your queries, that is your Q&A, right? See, every student and dreams to have a quality of a higher education, and we are basically here to plan and support your dreams and whatever the career that you just wanted to pursue. Let us look into what are all the importance of the design thinking, right? I would like to just have a small quote here. I'm sure that you all must be knowing who the person is. Steve Jobs, right? Who was the founder of Apple and the iPhone. He says design is not just what it looks or feels like. Design basically is how it works. Yeah, and he's perfectly right? On whatever it just says, design is just not what it feels like. It also, design is how it works. And why design thinking is so important is, you might see that design is there to do with every field, whether in architecture, interior, product design, UI, UX, or a digital, or a fashion design, or a jewelry design, or even engineering design, any amount. So design is one field, and there are so many other fields are there. Actually, design thinking transfer the problem solving approach to of design to another fields, you know. So design is basically an approach and a thought process which you superimpose onto any other field to become a great designer, right? And in today's world, designers are the most creative thinkers and who are trained to throughout their curriculum to adapt to a changes and innovate for the kind of a mankind. And down the line, in the current context, more and more the world needs good designers to rethink and re-establish our civilization in a very peaceful environment, right? So that is where a designer's career are more important now. And let us look into the current topic, design the future, right? You might ask me, what are all the scope and an opportunity if I become a designer, right? So the scope and opportunities, just to wanted to just overall. So this is not just everything, but this is, you know, just a brief. I'm trying to connect a different kind of a field. The best designs in the world are the innovations that are subjected to problems of the world. So we should understand first what are all the problems of the world, so that the best designs can be put through the best problem subjected to the different problems of the world, right? Some of the categories, I'm trying to give you few examples for such kind of a challenges or the design problem. One, there are so many problems on a day-to-day basis in healthcare, right? Including the recent pandemic, or the kind of a mask or anything, our kind of a lifestyle, or the products we use. We wash our hands 10 times in a day now, after this 2.5 years of pandemic and a lockdown. Okay, so the primary thing, the design contributions in healthcare. Then comes environment. In today's context, it makes more sense than before, because down the line we wanted to, take our leave this world with a better world for our children and our future generation, right? So we wanted to make it more environment friendly and more greeneries, and green energy we are trying to produce, and nourishment, our food. And of course, across the globe of the total population, still 1/3 of all the global populations are under the poverty line. Our whole idea through this design is to basically to eradicate this poverty. Education, what we are doing now by joining a course or an online or a MOOC, or and there is one more thing that is so prevalent nowadays is the terrorism. It's basically the kind of a strategies and the process that gets into anti-terrorism. Social communication, this is a form of a social communication. I'm sitting at one place and you are all at your home, you are just listening to my webinar, and our mobile or our internet or email, all these kind of a social communication. Yes, it has so much of a scope for design. Transportation, I'm sure that you would have seen in the market, there are more consciousness, people started using a kind of a pollution free electric vehicles. So there is a huge scope for the designers to contribute in transportation. Technology, day by day, right from your mobile no more, more than 6 months or 1 year, it becomes obsolete and you go in for a new mobile on a day-to-day basis. There are new technologies and a better products, and that keeps improving every day. The technology on the internet today, by sitting at home, you can order for things on online, whether you're, Ola or Uber or whatever the kind of a taxi services, or you know Zomato or Swiggy, or where you order for your foods. So these kind of technologies have made the whole service scenario. So there is definitely a designer's contribution there for building the apps and the UI UX and the front end, right? So the technology also, under technology, designers can contribute. Culture in theater, dance, music, sculpture, in our own culture, so much designers have got to contribute. So the best design in the world, or the innovation, that is subjected to. So all I just gave you was few examples of such problems areas, so that you could visualize yourself any of these fields. These fields are not exhaustive. I've just given you some few examples of some 10 different fields. There are so many fields like fashion, accessories, consumer products, children's toys. There are so many products that is there where designers can contribute. Very important in today's context of a design is design for green energy generation and utilization. I'm sure that you all must be aware, in India, whatever the electricity we produce even today is about 55 to 60% we depend on coal. That means we are still polluting our environment. So the consciousness is there down the line to go for a green energy and design for energy efficient products, and rethinking of our future earth, and designing for a change. It could be for any kind of a resources. It could be for water, emissions, fuels, personal gas, recycling, waste, offsets, transport, and electricity, right? Design for less carbon footprint. Designing for sustainability and sustainable materials. Today, you know, every individual of the population in India are generating about 600 grams to about 1 kilogram of a waste paper, waste plastic, anything that is waste which gets into our radhi, the waste bottles, or the boxes what we just throw to the. So the whole idea is to design for sustainability with a sustainable material. Recycle, research, reuse the materials to define the new products. Innovations in the field of sustainable materials is much required to develop products that does not harm the vital elements of our ecosystem. So that is where again a designer's contribution comes into force. I'm sure what we are seeing right now, even this webinar on your mobile or your laptop or your kind of a iPad, all these, it's basically computer based product design or futuristic design and its presentation. There are so many applications like home automation for your own house, for switching on, switching off products. For example, something like Alexa. Building safety, your CCTV camera, security system, alarm system, and the simplicity for the humanity. There are so many areas a design is there also to contribute for technology down the line, right? So we have seen design for sustainability, design for technology. Another thing is design for a digital world. The webinar what you're attending now, what the whole day you spend on your mobile phone or your laptop or your television, all these are the digital worlds, right? Somewhere all these signals that goes as zeros and ones, which is just transforms your screen into a visual experience. And the designing for such kind of an augmented reality, 3D visualization, It's a new way of presentations and interaction. It's a design for a new digital age and the experience, right? So designing for increasing demand of user interface and user experience. Let me give you just an idea. If you're all aspiring for design, in last 5 years, in my experience, from our own students in LPU, almost 90% of our students of any kind of a background, they may be interior designer, they may be a product designer, they may be some other design like fashion design or even architecture. All these people, most of them have got an opportunity to work on UI UX. You can ask me question, why there is so much of a demand for user interface and user experience in India as a designer? I would say we are the IT leaders, information technology leaders for the world, whether it is in software or a back-end service or a front-end service. So when we are the information technology leaders supporting most of the customers across the globe, user interface and user experience are a key support system for that information technology world. So it's quite natural that there is so much of a scope for user interface and user experience designers in India in past few years. A vast field for applying design skills into technology and to make the technology look much simpler, right? That gives you an idea of what UI UX is all about. I would also like to create your interest in another new field, which is down the line. Especially this kind of a fields are very important after our kind of an experience of recent pandemic. Why that kind of a corona and the pandemic happened? We have, at some point of time, we have gone away and away from nature. We started, misusing the nature. So with the kind of such kind of a things, the global warming or the kind of a pandemic that happens. So there is more conscious in today's sense for any field or for any people to go more close to the nature. For the designers, this is another important field or very, very interesting and the latest field called biomimicry. Biomimicry is basically borrows the nature's blueprints. You know, we try to copy what is there in the nature in terms of a recipe or a process or a ecosystem or a strategy, then comes up with a design principle to solve our own problems in reality, right? Some of the example I just gave you here, you know, the shoes here with the kind of this thing, and the car shape aerodynamics work in the shape of a fish, or the handler that is made like elephants, this thing, and the bullet train made with the bird's peak. All this just a few examples for me to create some interest in. Design for service for a better customer experience. This is another area of a UI UX where, see, India does not grow only in manufacturing and software. It also grows because we have a huge manpower. We have a huge opportunities to grow in service area for a better customer experience. Planning and arranging the people's infrastructure, communication, and material components of a service in order to improve its quality and the interaction between the service provider and its user. For example, the kind of a call center or a backend center support system, customer support system, all these things are the service design, right? So we have a huge scope for designers to contribute for a better service design too in India. And we may not look into a hands-on experience or the exercise here. These are some of the examples done in our previous workshop where they create the pictures by creating shadows, right? Which is a hand cut mount board stuck on the kind of a board. The left one is I'm sure that you all will know with the shadow that it is Shah Rukh Khan, And the right one is our honorable pro chancellor ma'am, right? And this is the exercise. Okay, let us look into, if you are a designer, you all are must be excited. What is that I should look for the kind of an essentials in a design school, right? So the essentials or design schools, or the primary objective of any design school, is to enhance the design thinking ability of any individual. In fact, we encourage people like you who have come on lateral entry. You might have any kind of a background. If you wanted to seriously pursue designers, Lovely gives that opportunity by doing a lateral entry, or any kind of a multidisciplinary person who should be able to learn and work on design ability, right? A guide and a facilitate progress of students in the ocean of opportunities that can be achieved. We definitely guide and facilitate the progress of our students, right? Whether it is in a graduation or a post graduation. The schools also promote a leadership and management qualities. So it's not enough that we make you a good designers. We also try to promote a good leadership and the management qualities of each and every individual of our students, right? A designer is required to drive his design with a rightful implementation, his or her idea in the actual field professionally, right? So we also try to build a better leadership and the management qualities. And the design school considers economy, technology, sustainability, ergonomics, research methodology, communication skill set. So we almost try to build a holistic kind of an attitude of a designer skills than just teaching you design, right? It's all the skills that is needed to make you a world-class designer. And the design schools facilitate a practical learning through hands-on. See, except this pandemic, now the offline classes have started. We have workshops, we have all the studios where students get an opportunity to practically go and do. Designs are not just imagination and doing a drawings and sketch. It's also doing and showing. So it's a practical learning through hands-on training, and students learn to construct their own ideas in a workshop under the rightful supervision, right? These are all the essentials you should look for any kind of a design schools which LPU has, all in all, right? We need designers to create a systematic yet a peaceful experience for an ever-changing society, right? Let us look into the design career. It's a best university campus, the nature of your thoughts. It's a best library resources, quality of food shops to keep you healthy, highly qualified and interactive faculty, best quality workshops, labs, research units to develop your products. We also try to buy workshops and webinars and seminars and experiential learning. We try to bring in a global design exposure, hands-on learning. There are other extracurricular activities, like you can engage yourself in our students association. You know, if you are good in singing or sports or other activities, you can also build your extracurricular activities here. It is basically a collaborative department with fine arts, architecture, and animation, right? It is the best to plan the course and research-based learning, and direct support to execute your ideas, where you can go to your workshops and you can build your own products. And LPU very strongly support IPR, that is intellectual property rights. If you have built some very good product, you would like to, patent it, or you wanted to have a copyrights or a trademark or something, we definitely support such kind of an intellectual property rights of our students and the faculty, right? And it is a great quality learning environment, right? So that's about LPU. If you look into students through design education, these are all the general career path we have found in past with our students. Either you go for higher studies, they go for a very high profile jobs, or they have some small ideas or builds of products and they become like an entrepreneur, or we call it they become a designerpreneur. They become an entrepreneur in design field, or they have their own or they take up their family business, uncles or fathers or other family business, they just take over. Or some of our students also freelance, they practice, they have their own firms. So these are generally the kind of a career paths we have found in our students. So I wanted to tell you, at the end, there is an ocean of opportunities here at LPU, just waiting for you to come and grab those opportunities, right? So we can go for a question and answer now, Ruby. You can go and type on your Q&A, whatever you wanted to ask. Ruby Gill will just moderate and she will just pass on the questions to me. And I will answer all your queries, whatever the best possible way, right? So you can ask me any questions on design, design opportunities, designers, training and placement, curriculum, what kind of a practicals you do, workshop, what kind of a materials, where all we just take you outside during our experiential learning. So is it offline or online? Any questions regarding that, then you can go ahead. Shoot. I'm waiting for your questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for this impactful presentation. You have bounded us with your visionary thoughts. And audience, thank you for your patience and participation. I'm sure you must have upgraded your skills by the inputs and learning shared by our expert. So thank you, everyone. Yes, sir, we have few queries from attendees. So with your permission, we'll take up those queries. Sir, shall I share a query with
Go
you?
ahead.
All right. So, sir, there is a
No
query
problem.
from
You can ask the query.
Animesh. He wants to know that in this such a competitive world, how can I stand out with this course?
That's a very good question. What's his name? Anikesh. Abhishek.
Animesh. Yes, Animesh, sir.
Animesh. Let me tell you, it is so complicated world, but the genome of Animesh is so unique. Every individual in this millions of people are so unique. So I'm sure in this such a complicated world, whether it is Ruby or me or our own faculty or every student who are there online, are so unique. Our genes are so unique. Our parental are so unique. Our culture, our experience, right? Our exposure, our education, our background, our experience, everything is so unique, right? So I believe that every individual here in this world are so unique. So every individual of my student are so unique. They have some other very unique special expertise. This is my own personal experience. Okay. So I'm sure how much ever complicated the whole world is, every individual has got a space and a place to make himself some kind of a unique contribution with his background and experience. I think I have answered your question, Animesh, right?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll take another query, and this query is from Tanzin. He wants to know that is there any tour like exposure to different renowned places for inspiration and ideas during the course duration?
Yeah. During the course duration, generally in any course, if they have some 3-4 courses in a semester, every course we leave the fourth, that is before midterm exam, and the 10th week, fourth and the 10th week as an experiential learning week. So this whole week there are no classrooms. So each of the subjects, the faculties take them outside to the market, to visit, to document, to photograph, to experience, to do a market survey, to visit a museum, to visit a offline site, online site, or to visit a museum. This is one. Other than that, during the summer and the winter vacation, we also have a system of, you know, students tour, where due to lockdown that we have not done that in past 2 years, but we may start again for such kind of a tours, where we take 1 week 10 days, we just go outstation to a different place, where I myself have taken about 3 batches to places like Muradabad and Firozabad and Kurja, to work on ceramics, glass, you know, and all these different kind of a products. We conducted workshops there, where student had a hands-on experience, such kind of a workshop. So definitely we have an exposure of both through this experiential learning, as well working, taking them on a kind of a student's tour, a study tour we call it, right? Did I answer your question?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. And we'll take up another query, and that query is from Karamjeet Singh. He wants to know that he's not good in drawing. So, how can he put up his ideas? Is there anything LPU will assist him in like graphics or all that, so that he can put up idea digitally, because he's not good in drawing? So, what's your input on in this, sir?
Okay. See, uh, Karan Singh or Karanjeet, what's his name?
Karamjeet, sir.
Karanjeet. Even when I was in school, my handwriting has to be very, very poor, you know, and my English grammar mistakes was very poor. So somewhat that I will be able to draw or sketch anything. But let me tell you, there is a good thing for everybody. I don't think that I need to know so much of a grammar or something of what is there, what was there so long. See, today everything has got a spell check. You don't have to learn English, right? So I don't need a handwriting at all. Almost about 95% of my work, I type or I do the typing. I don't, very little I do handwritten work. This is more in terms of youngsters. Even my old timers like me have reduced so much. In the current term, very, very less the handwritten kind of habits. And in the same way, even in the drawings, you have so many tools, whether it is AutoCAD, 3ds, or other sketches or things like that. So what I mean to say is, for all these skill sets, there are typical tool sets and tools, and the softwares are available. All you have to do, an attitude of sketching, that's all. And you would have learned the skills or the sets. That's it. So you need not have to have an actual good skill set of hand-drawn kind of a this thing, because we don't use, for all our UGs and PGs, we use 3ds Max, AutoCAD, and the skill set. It is good. If you have a hand sketching kind of a skill set, it is good, well and good. But you need not have to much worry if you don't have the skill set, because for everything we use the apps and the kind of a software. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Definitely. Thank you so much, sir. So we'll take up another query, and this query is from Prerna. And so she wants to seek your advice on this, that what is the placement scenario in at LPU? Do a diploma student need to go for higher education, or the person will get placements, a good career after the diploma? So what's your take on this, sir?
See, it is purely my student's choice. I think I gave you in the last slide around 5 different career paths, right? So we identify every students right in the beginning. What is that the career path that they are looking for after finishing the course? Some people look for, some kind of a higher education or an entrance exam or something like that. Some people look for doing some kind of an entrepreneurship or starting something of their own. Some students look for taking up their father or their brother or sister, somebody is already in business, they are an architect, or they have a kind of a hardware shop or something, they take it as a family business. Some students look for a high-end jobs, and some students look for starting something or practicing something or their own. So we definitely try to identify what is that kind of a career path that is there to beginning, and if is there any kind of a special skill set that is required. For example, if you wanted to go for higher studies or looking for some kind of a very high-end jobs after that, this definitely needs a certain skill sets. For example, your presentation skills, for example, your own English and how you present or talk, how you communicate, these kind of a communication skills and the confidence, right? So we identify such kind of a skill sets where my student is so weak. We also give a special focus on those kind of an areas, our training and placement, in imparting those kind of a skill sets to our students. So it is beyond your curriculum and the courses, right? So it doesn't matter what kind of a path you choose, any path you choose, we will tell you what kind of a skill sets and where you are weak, and we will try to help you to build a better career in your own path what you have chosen, right? In terms of skill set, LPU definitely focuses on very customized kind of a skill sets for each of the students, because all my students does not need the same kind of skill sets, because they've chosen different paths of career, right? Okay,
Yes,
I
sir.
think I answered
So
your question.
yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for resolving all the queries of our attendees. And attendees, you have heard our mentorship. So, if you want to gain this expertise, if you want to be proficient in this designing thing, you have to visit a university. You have to take admission in a university, and for that, you need to visit our website, that is www.lpu.in, and there you can click on admission. You will get all the courses after diploma, after 10th, that is after 10th, after 10 plus 2, after graduation, post graduation. So all the information whatsoever you want to know, it is available on our website. And plus you can contact us through WhatsApp, through video call. Everything is shared on the website, so you can go through it once, and you'll get to know everything, the eligibility, fees, scholarship, important dates, and you can communicate with us. Plus you can visit a university as well. So thank you so much, everyone. In the last but not the least, I'll advise you that decisions determine destiny. So decide your own date and take the admissions as soon as possible. So with this, we'll conclude today's session. That's all for today. Thank you, attendees, for sparing time and participating in this webinar. We appreciate you all for being here, and I believe your knowledge has been enriched by this webinar. Also, I would like to express my appreciation to the experts for their valuable contribution on the topic, which was entitled as Roadmap to Future Design. I'm sure, sir, your years of experience, your years of research will definitely help the audience to choose the right path. So thank you so much, sir. So until next time, I, Ruby Gill, finally sign off the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you.